last week's late 2022 appointments of two special counsels by Attorney General Merrick Garland to investigate the mishandling of classified documents by two towering political figures have set the stage for a high-stakes legal showdown in an unfolding drama that might easily be mistaken for a political thriller. The investigations, on the other hand, growing out of identical claims of unauthorized retention of sensitive information, veered sharply in their outcomes, casting a complex picture of justice and discretion at the highest levels of American politics. And then one of the special counsels, Jack Smith, dropped a bombshell with two indictments against Trump, accusing him of serious breaches that included espionage violations. He pleaded not guilty and maintained his innocence, at the same time calling them politically motivated and baseless charges. 13 months later, Robert Hur, who was appointed to serve as the second special counsel, throws an unexpected twist into the story. Hur further pointed to evidence that Biden, too, had mishandled classified documents as a private citizen, but that, in his opinion, it did not justify prosecution. President Trump, in his reaction to the sentencing, was outraged and called the judiciary system partial and unsparing. This unequal legal result between the two presidents being brought on the same charges has certainly added more fuel to the fire of political controversy. Trump commented that the decision represents a two-tiered system of justice. Legal scholars and commentators have not been shy to delve into the details of these cases. Brian Greer, a legal expert and former CIA lawyer, said such cases presented inherent challenges since mishandling of classified information was hardly unusual, but almost never resulted in criminal charges. He cited prosecutorial discretion in relation to the historical context, drawing on the decision not to charge a former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, in a case related to her use of a private email server to pass along classified communications. The notion of discretion so dominated throughout Hur's report, which appeared to depend heavily on that, taking into account Biden's frankness during the investigation. In stark contrast, the report underscored aggravating facts surrounding Trump's case, notably his refusal to return classified documents despite repeated chances to do so. Speaking defiantly from the White House, Biden contrasted his own situation with Trump's, noting how his mishandling did not involve storing documents in a place open to the public like Mar-a-Lago. His insistence that he broke no laws closed the chapter of the saga, at least for now. The story of two investigations with the mix of legal nuance and political rivalry, combined with questions of fairness, underscores the complexities of justice in the domain of national security. With the dust settling on Hur's report and its implications, no doubt the argument over what amount of equal treatment under the law for those at the highest echelons of power is likely to continue. And during the recent oral argument over disqualification of Donald Trump under the 14th Amendment, Section 3, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson grilled up Trump's lawyer whether the events of January 6th were unquestionably an insurrection. Trump's lawyer had actually originally avoided ceding that the events amounted to an insurrection, instead arguing that Trump himself hadn't engaged in insurrectionary acts. Justice Jackson, however, continued to emphasize on his argument where, as one event could be regarded as an insurrection, that there should be a distributed, organized intention of overthrowing the government through force in order to call the situation an insurrection. Trump's lawyers replied that the acts of disorderly conduct of January 6th were more characterized by riotousness than with any organized rebellion and did not in any way qualify as insurrection as per Section 3. He said that although the events were shameful, criminal, and violent, the events for him did not follow an insurrection as the law envisages. And yet, given Trump himself is now under investigation for incitement of insurrection to overturn the 2020 election result, it is somewhat remarked that the event of January 6th carried criminal events. However, Trump almost contradicts his lawyer's stand with his own when he terms his insurrection led by Nancy Pelosi in what is widely regarded a baseless conspiracy theory. This new conflict between Trump and his lawyer puts into doubt the alliance and orientation of the legal team. While the lawyer was trying to downplay the degree of events, other statements afterwards by Trump point out difference in information, probably from anger over the criminal aspects that come from his deeds. Special counsel Jack Smith forcefully responded to former President Donald Trump's continued attempts to delay his federal criminal case timeline in the Southern District of Florida, as outlined in the most recent chapter of Trump's legal odyssey. This case, which charges Trump with the serious crime of intentionally withholding national defense information, is being tried by federal judge Aileen Cannon. And it's fast becoming a battlefield not just of law, but of strategy and wills. Smith's recent filing is a direct counter to Trump's plea for more time in order to be able to prepare his legal defense, specifically as it pertains to filing certain pretrial motions. This isn't the first instance that Mr. Trump has sought at such delays. In fact, one might say it is a pattern for him. Smith added this is the fourth time Trump and his team have called for delays of pretrial deadlines or the trial itself, which also includes co-defendants Walter Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira. Smith's message was clear. This was more than just procedural request, but a hard-wrought effort to drag out the legal process as long as possible. Smith further details a highly controversial request from Trump's camp, a motion to dismiss the charges made on a claim of presidential immunity. According to Smith, this argument is baseless and incredible, especially given the fact that the things Trump is accused of were made after he had left the office. Smith sees this as a blatant move to insert further delay by perhaps igniting a chain of appeals that would be frivolous against the instant motion in any event. The evident frustration at what Smith views as transparent gamesmanship on the part of the government is easily discernible as he traces the history of events that has led us to this juncture. The defendants were under the order to file all their pretrial motions by November 3rd, 2023. It was not a last-minute ultimatum. It had been included in a schedule that had been made months prior. And here they are months later, still asking for extensions and using maneuvers that Smith believes were intentionally designed to delay the case. Smith also parallels just how in Trump's game in this suit, it mirrors what he did in a case involving another Washington, D.C., are particularly instructive. In those cases, which are related to attempts to reverse the outcome of the 2020 election, Trump's legal moves resulted in considerable delays via interlocutory appeals. Smith is implying that Trump wants to do the same thing over here and work the mechanisms of the legal system, regardless of the substantive merits, which may or may not underlie his claims. What distinguishes Smith's filing is not just the legal arguments it makes, but also the apparent exasperation with the constant efforts at each step to thwart this trial from progressing. This is not about mere legal technicalities. It is about a fundamental conflict over the speed and direction of justice. In effect, what Smith is saying to the court, as well as the public, enough already. Let the trial go forward unimpeded. Meanwhile, the unfolding of this legal drama is becoming a litmus test for the competence of a judicial system which was shown lacking in successfully trying high-profile cases of professed former leaders. Now, with case being given to Judge Aileen Cannon, who hit the headlines for her rulings in this very case before uncertainties loom ahead. But Smith's ability to keep the trial on the rails served as a reminder of the larger stakes, that no one, not even an ex-president, is above the law. The next few months will be crucial as both sides gear up for a trial date set on May 20th, 2024. With legal strategies and motions still flying back and forth, the case offers all of the promise of rising to be a classic test of the fight over presidential power, unaccountability, and the staying power of the American judicial system. Thanks for joining us today. If you haven't, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And most of all, stay with us for more updates and stay curious.